Hi, everybody. This is Patricia Potter from Kirklin Solutions. Welcome to the Society of Thoracic Surgeons Intermacs and Pedimacs Quality Assurance Report Overview webinar. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I'll give everybody just a minute to get logged in, and we'll get started here in just a minute. All right, thank you everybody for joining today. This is going to be our Quality Assurance Report Overview webinar. Thank you all for joining. I'm just going to go over just some housekeeping slides, some updates, and then we're going to hear from Brandon Singletary on some reporting updates. And then at the end of the webinar, we'll have some time for an open discussion where you can ask Brandon any questions you have about reporting related, dashboard related. If you have any questions that you do want to ask, we just ask that you put those questions in the Q&A function. So today on the team from the today on the call from the STS team, we have Nancy Honeycutt, we have Emily Conrad and Banu. And then from the Intermacs Data Warehouse team at Kirklin Solutions, we have Brandon Singletary, John Pennington. And I just wanted to thank everybody who attended AQO this year. The AQO meeting was wonderful. We had incredible speakers, lots of great discussion. Hopefully everybody learned something and really enjoyed the content. This meeting isn't possible without all of our wonderful speakers who put so much time into their presentations. So thank you to all of our speakers and thank you to all of you that attended. I hope you enjoyed AQO this year. I'm going to just turn it over to Nancy to just talk a little bit more about AQO 2025.
Yeah. So, like Patricia said, we are so happy that you were able to attend AQO 2025. It was a huge success. For those of you who have not yet purchased the virtual pass and would still like to do so, that is still available. The last day to purchase is November the 21st. Next. The content availability for AQO, the recordings of the sessions are available, and you can find those on the AQO meeting platform. Those will be available until mid-December. After that, the content will move to the STS Learning Center. You will have access to all of the PowerPoint slides, handouts, case scenarios, and all of the recordings until AQO 2026. And then just a reminder to complete your evaluations to obtain your CEUs. You want to make sure that you view all of the content prior to completing your evaluations and make sure that you do your evaluations all in one sitting. You can't leave and return to the place where you last commented on your evaluations. You can find that information on the AQO platform under CE, CEU, and evaluations. And then the deadline to claim credit is Friday, December the 26th. So make sure you get that done so that you can receive your credit.
Thanks, Nancy. And then I just wanted to give a date reminder. So the data entry deadline for quarter 3 is coming up on Friday. It's October 31st. So that is for quarter three data to be entered. The coverage stop date is September 30th, and then those reports will be distributed December 31st. So just a reminder on the data entry deadline. And then after this webinar, I just like to always share our contact information. If after the webinar you think of something that you weren't able to ask, or if you ever have any questions for us, you can reach out to Nancy Honeycutt or myself here at Kirklin Solutions. So I think I'm going to turn it over to Brandon, and then we will have time for open discussion after Brandon's presentation.
All right. Thank you, Patricia, and good afternoon, everyone. Or I guess technically it's still AM if you're joining us from the West Coast. But STS asked that I join today to kind of cover a few things related to our reporting and as well as our dashboard and kind of things to come in the coming couple of months related to the dashboard specifically. If you joined us for AQO and you were able to join my talk, I kind of briefly presented and showed off a new version of a dashboard that we've been creating here at Kirklin Solutions that hopefully offers some new additional benefits to you as the end users without losing any of the functionality that we currently provide in the dashboard. But to just jump right in, just to quickly cover again, I'll talk through a little bit of the reports that went out a couple months ago, and then wanted to reiterate that the reports that are currently live for Q2 will remain on the website to download until the next reports go out. So we highly recommend you go ahead, get on there, download your reports for this cycle. Because those do get replaced for the next quarter for Q3 at the end of December. So you can keep that and save that for whenever you do need it. And then we're going to kind of just briefly, again, show you the current tools we have available to you on the web-based data entry site. And then again, cover the new dashboard that we're looking to roll out in January of next year. So as you probably know, this is kind of our one-stop shop for everything that you might need as a site administrator or assistant site administrator for those dashboards and reports, your live data download, SAS data sets, all of the tools that we provide you to help provide some additional analytics or to provide your data back to you, both in a downloadable format or in kind of like a dashboard review format. So the reports that you should see on your site now, if you have access as a site administrator or assistant site administrator, or for 2025 Q2, just to kind of quickly go through that process again. If you haven't done it yet, you need a refresher. You want to download those zip files. And then once you have them downloaded to your computer, you want to right click, select extract all from that zip file. That will give you the option to save to a certain spot on your computer or on your network. You will have a site password that you have as a site administrator that you'll need to enter when prompted. If you do need that password, or if you've lost it, reach out to me, provide that to you. But then, we suggest that you save that in a secure location. One software that I use to kind of keep up with all my passwords, since there's so many to keep up with these days, is called Bitwarden. It's secure, and it's something we use here at Kirklin Solutions. But within that file, you should have a README document that kind of goes through everything that's included, a cover letter to kind of introduce you to the reports and what's included in those reports. And then you'll have the most recent data quality report, which goes through things like forms that are not yet submitted, or patients that haven't entered follow-up for a certain amount of time, those data quality reports. And then we get into the different versions of the QA reports, which includes both a cumulative report for all patients you've entered at your site across all time that you've been active, and then the recent reports, which are just patients that were implanted during the last 6 quarters of this report cycle. Within each of those, you have all of your patients or just the primary VAD patients, and then a separate report for any patients that had a prior durable VAD during that same time. And then just to reiterate, that the next Q3 reports will go out at the end of December. So as far as the dashboards are concerned, we currently have, what we think to be a great version of the dashboard that I think many people have found very useful over the few years that we've had it available now, that we've built out to provide you both a way to look at current accounts, that data that's updated nightly, as well as look at short-term outcomes from a 30-day, 90-day perspective and compare your center against the aggregate Intermacs group. This version provides you tables and figures to just basic counts or rates, as well as provide you the ability to benchmark your data against Intermacs or Pedimacs as a whole. And then also provide you, like I said, real-time or at least monthly updated data behind the scenes, gives you a set of filters from a demographic and clinical characteristics perspective to select certain subpopulations of your data you might be interested in looking at. And then that's embedded within the web-based data entry for access for those individuals that are designated as the user at your center. So as I mentioned, we've been developing a new version of this dashboard that right off the bat keeps all the current features that you currently have available within the dashboard, but it's going to add some out-of-the-box new features that we think that you as an end user will really benefit from. A lot of things that are things that we've gotten feedback from you as the dashboard users and things that you were wanting to see. And it'll look slightly different, as you'll see here in a minute, mainly because we built this dashboard in sight. So the current version of the dashboard, just to kind of give you a quick background of the software, we use software called Tableau. That means that we have to then host that dashboard on the Tableau server, which provides us some limitation on the data and background behind the scenes that we have to do from the data preparation standpoint to both remove patient information as well as pre-aggregate the data in a certain way. But what this new dashboard will allow us to do is access multiple years or multiple quarters of patient level data, not just be limited to the last 4 years, or if you're Pedimacs, the last 4 quarters in Intermacs. We'll keep those interactive filters, but we'll have more flexibility to add to the filter set and give you more flexibility on the types of filtering you can do, particularly related to the years and time frame. And then additionally, it's going to provide you the ability to download the data that's behind the scenes for your center in a secure Excel export for you to be able to say, look for certain outliers if you see an outlier in your data within the dashboard. From a development standpoint, it allows us to do some custom enhancements that we've already implemented. We can get more feedback from the users when deploying new features rapidly, as well as it's going to open the door for us to provide more enhanced analytics. The statistician in me would like to put certain things like p-values on the difference between your site and Intermacs, or other types of maybe more advanced statistical analyses that we can embed within the dashboard. So now I'm going to move back over to the current web-based data entry, just to kind of give everyone, again, a kind of quick overview of, you go into the web-based data entry, you see either go straight to the dashboard here on the dashboard tab, or to the reports tab here. The main 2 dashboard tools we have available is this outcome analytics tool, which allows you to generate a Kaplan-Meier curve. You go in here, you scroll down, you select create new request. And then this will give you a set of filters and options of how you want to look at your data. So you can either just look at a single cohort, compare 2 cohorts within your site, or compare a cohort from your site against an equivalent Intermacs and or Pedimacs cohort, and then select your outcome. What this tool will provide is a more of a long-term outcome look at these outcomes compared to the dashboard, which is, we kind of have looked at for now just 30-day and 90-day outcomes, but this will provide you the ability to look at your survival or your time to first AE that we have listed above. And you can see not just within the first 30 or 90 days, but across all follow-up time through the patients at your center of when those events are occurring. Or the way this Kaplan-Meier curve works is that also those patients, as they fall out, either due to follow-up cap or they meet a registry endpoint, like they received a transplant or cessation of support, something along those lines. So we really like this tool, but we want to be able to then merge that with the dashboard. So the current version of the dashboard, for those who do have access, you can see it. You have your reported events counts, and then you can go through the different tabs, select patient characteristics, look at a comparison of your site versus Intermacs, and then look at adverse events and benchmarks like length of stay or ICU days, and compare again your site to the rest of Intermacs. So again, a great tool that we've developed, and I think many of you have found very useful, but we wanted to enhance those options for you. So now I'm going to move back to the new version. So here is the current kind of proof of concept of the dashboard that we're looking to roll out in January. Right off the bat, it looks a little bit different, but again, all functionality, all information that you previously had available to you is in this dashboard. But some of the things right off the bat that we like about this new version is that we've simplified it a little bit from not having to click between individual tabs and filters on each page. What it does is provide you the ability to just have one page you can go to, select your filters, look at your data, and then select your time frame of interest. And then you can just scroll down to look at each of those demographic and clinical characteristics, as well as those metrics of 30-day outcomes, 90-day outcomes, as well as the trend lines, and then those benchmarks. And so I'm scrolling through this quickly, but I want to show you an example of how this new version of the dashboard works. So again, like this current version of the dashboard, we have just this basic events table where it's going to show you the last 4 quarters of your counts of patients, new patients, implants, and then some AEs and registry implants. Again, what this does is it updates nightly to show you just your basic counts of what forms have been submitted. So a new patient form, a new implant form, AEs, death form. So if you submit one of those forms and you log in the next day, you should see that count here. If not, maybe it gives you the ability to go check to see if that form was submitted correctly or not. Then we get into the current filters that we currently have. Again, we're hoping to add to this as the dashboard use grows, but it allows you to filter age group, years, gender, race, device type or device brand, and then some of your clinical characteristics like patient profile, device strategy, the implant volume of your center, so you can compare yourself against other similar volume centers within the aggregate Intermacs count, and then EGFR grouping, and then whether or not that person or that patient group had a history of a prior durable VAD. So moving on, we then have added this new time scale. So instead of it just being a fixed time scale like the current version, this is going to give you the flexibility to say, I want to look at just the last 4 years of data. So you just select 2021 and you can see it automatically updates on the table below, but it also just gives you a quick count of how many patients are at your site and within the Intermacs group as a whole as you select those filters. So again, this is interchangeable. You can go back to 2020 or all the way back to 2018. As we move forward in time, that'll change, but we're kind of thinking that this time frame of 8 years or so is about 7, 8 years or so is what we're wanting to provide. But let's say you still want to look at it from a quarterly basis and see trends from a quarter standpoint. You can also go filter to looking at year by quarters. Again, I want to look at just the last 4 years since 2021 and see, okay, for each quarter, those counts of age and implant as at your center, what's the distribution as compared to the aggregate Intermacs. You can see those side by side. And so I'm going to keep it at 4 years just for simplicity standpoint. But one of the neat new things that we have is this download filtered site data. So as you select certain filters, let's say you want to just look at your patient profile 1 and 2 patients at your center. So you select those 2 filters, automatically changes in the last 4 years. What is the age at implant distribution for just your centers? You see you have 38 patients at your center compared to 7,600 across all Intermacs. But let's say you see an outlier in one of these, like you're looking at the device types or your device strategies and say, well, I don't remember us having that many destination therapy patients among that time frame. You can actually click this download filtered site data. It's going to automatically save a Excel file with a list of those patient IDs and then some of the basic information. That way you can try to investigate some of those potential outliers. Then you can move down and look at your outcomes if you're interested in that. You can select maybe 30-day mortality, device malfunction, device-related infection, GI bleed, as well as some of our 90-day outcomes. Again, 90-day mortality, driveline infection, respiratory failure. So let's say you wanted to look at your 90-day mortality. Just select that. It's automatically going to update the last 4 years, 4.5 years of data to show you what's your patient percent of mortality during 90 days, as well as their mortality event rate as compared to the rest of Intermacs. Among just those, again, remember, we're looking at just those patient profile 1 and 2 cohort. You can see that trend line over time of your patient percents. And then you want to move on and look at your length of stay, your ICU days. These are the figures that you might be familiar with if you currently use the dashboard. It's going to show the distribution of all Intermac centers, what the median 20th percentile. If you hover over your hospital's green dot, it'll show you the time frame, how many patients, and then the distribution of length of stay during that time. So these patients had a maximum of 91 days in the hospital with a median stay of 22 days. Just below that is that breakdown across each individual year or whatever filter you've selected above. If you're looking at it from year quarter, it will reflect that down here as well. And then same for ICU days. You have overall ICU days at your center. And then across all time that you selected. So again, we're really excited to provide this to y'all. We're looking to roll this out in January of 2026. We hope this provides you with all of the current options that you have within the dashboard, but giving you right out of the box some additional capabilities to look at further time as well as downloading data. And then one of the other additional items we want to explore is allowing more users at your center to have access to the dashboard. So we're going to not be limited to number of licenses that we have to purchase through Tableau. And because we've built this in-house, we're hopefully going to be able to open this up to you at your center, and we'll give more details around that at the time of the launch around working with STS to have more than just one user at your center being able to have access to this dashboard. So very excited about this. We hope this tool provides you additional support at your center. And yeah, so thank you all for your time. Again, happy to answer any questions while we're on here today. If you need to reach out to me directly, I'm happy to work with you to both have access to the reports or the dashboards, providing answers that you might have.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Brandon. We do have a few questions in Q&A for you. The first question is from Christy. Will there be an opportunity in the future to assign different site administrators for various STS registries? Our current STS administrator is not involved with Intermacs. Additionally, can you please confirm whether the site administrator is the only user with access to all the dashboards? So Christy, so yes. Well, it's not just the site administrator. Currently, for the current dashboard we have, only one user per site has access to that dashboard. It can be the site administrator or it can be somebody else, but currently it is only one person per site.
Right, yeah, the reports are the only thing that we have limited to just the site administrators or assistant site administrators. Dashboard can be anyone that you want to designate as the dashboard user at your center. And then again, with this new version of the dashboard, hopefully we'll open that up to more than just having to be limited to one person per center.
Okay. The first question, Christy, I'm not sure. I might have to lean into Nancy because I'm not sure I understand the question. Will there be an opportunity in the future to assign different site administrators for the various STS registries?
Yeah, I can answer that, Patricia.
Okay.
So I just put the link to the participant contact form in the chat. You can update your site administrator using that form. If there's someone that needs to take over for site administrator who is involved with Intermacs for the Intermacs database, you can update that with the participant contact form.
Great. Thank you, Nancy. And then Brandon, Christy just had a follow-up comment question to clarify. When you filter, you are filtering at your center and for Intermacs, comparing like to like?
Yes, correct. So as you select the filters, both your center's information as well as the aggregate Intermacs information, go together so that you're comparing, like you said, like to like. If you want to, as I click through, if you wanted to look at your site, if you're a high volume center or a medium volume center, you can select that. So you're comparing your center against other Intermacs centers of the same type. Same thing with any of the filters and time frame.
Then we have another question from Amanda. Is this the dashboard that only one person per site can access? If so, it would be really helpful for more than one person to have access.
Yes, yeah, that's exactly, why one of the reasons why we wanted to create something in-house to kind of give more flexibility on the number of users we have. So that's definitely something that we're wanting to add with this new version of the dashboard.
That'll be really nice. Then one more question. How much do you anticipate the format content of the direct data download files will change with the upgrade?
I'm not sure exactly. John, do you have any information on that?
I wish, but no.
Yeah, so that would be a question that we would probably want to pose to Rama with our dev team around the upgrade and if that's going to change anything to the data download files.
Rama will be doing webinars late winter, early spring, talking about the upcoming platform upgrade. And we can certainly ask him to cover this if he does anticipate that there will be any format or content changes to the live data downloads. So we will visit that on future webinars with Rama and his development team.
And I want to add us, I wish, like, don't anticipate any features going away. I mean, like the look and feel may change a little bit, but the idea of this platform update is to make everything more robust and better. So
Right.
yeah, I can't tell you exactly what it'll be like, but I would put money on it not being worse.
And then we have another question from Colleen. A while back, it was announced that some information from Intermacs will become publicly available. Is that still scheduled to happen? Do you want to take that, Nancy?
I'm not sure.
Is that like the star rating?
Like public reporting?
Yeah.
Yeah, that may be what this is about. So we are working on implementing the Intermacs risk model. That is currently underway, and I believe the plan is to eventually publicly report, but this will be pretty far in the future for that. I'm not sure of the exact date,
Right.
if that's what you're asking about, Colleen.
This isn't a question about the old BioLink data, is it? Okay, so she said yes.
Yeah. It's probably
Okay.
the risk model.
Yeah.
Okay. In the participant contact form, when you add a person, it asks about dashboard access, giving the options of none, read only, and read write. Is it referring to this dashboard? If so, what happens if I clicked read write for multiple people? So when you request Tableau or dashboard access for somebody for the current dashboard, not the one that's going to be launching in January, for the current dashboard, if you request dashboard access for somebody, we will deactivate the person that currently has Tableau access to assign it to the new person. So it wouldn't be possible to assign it to more than one per site. We would just probably reach out to you and ask you which person you wanted to designate if you selected multiple people.
And the dashboard's like it's a read-only tool. Think of it as like a reporting tool. So read right there doesn't mean that like you couldn't select the filters or you could select the filters. You'll have the same functionality. I would think of it as a read-only tool. You're not changing any data, just how you view the data.
Right. It'll be your access to the data. Any other questions? Feel free to put them in the Q&A. I did want to mention this will be our last webinar for 2025. Our November webinar fell during Thanksgiving and our December webinar fell during Christmas week. So this will be our last webinar for 2025 and we'll pick right back up in January. We'll have lots of good information coming in January. We'll be talking about the platform upgrade. We'll be going through in the spring, hopefully showcasing AE revisions and such. So lots of good things happening for Intermacs in 2026. Kelly, well, it looks like someone will need to reach out to me between 10:10 and today. I've submitted 4 participant contact forms due to having many changes in the form, only allowing 3 changes at a time. Yeah, Kelly, if you want to reach out to me, or here I can take your name and I can reach out to you. And we can figure it out. Just to clarify, Kelly, I hope we're talking about the same thing. So multiple people can have access and read write abilities in Intermacs. It's just the dashboard that it's one person per site currently. but I'll send you an email. All right, any other questions? Okay. I'll just confirm that, Kelly, and I'll send you an email. All right, well, thank you so much, Brandon. Excited for the new dashboard coming and the ability for many data managers to be able to use it at each site. So that's really exciting. Thank you, everybody, for joining today. As always, these webinars are recorded and they will be up on the STS website along with the slides. So thank you, everybody, for joining. Everybody have nice, safe holidays, and we will pick back up with Intermacs and Pedimacs webinars in January.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Patricia. Thanks, Brandon.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Sure. Thank you, everyone.